Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I'm doing another requested video about how I managed IIH and migraines in university. So before I get into any more details, time for the intro. The biggest issue with this is that I was symptomatic in my last semester. However, I wasn't officially diagnosed for several months after I completed my degree. I had actually convocated or graduated by the time I got my diagnosis. So I first started experiencing symptoms in January of 2018. I completed my degree and classes and final exams in April of 2018. I convocated or graduated in June of 2018, but I wasn't officially diagnosed with IIH until September of 2018. Now, if you go back and look upon my old videos, and I'm talking 2019 videos here, I talked quite a bit about my time with school and managing these symptoms and what it was like. I started experiencing the double vision in about February of 2018, and despite the constant, what I thought was constant, going back and forth to doctors, I was basically diagnosed as being a stressed university student and everything would go away as soon as I wasn't stressed. Now, I say IIH and migraines because I always talk about IIH and migraines together now. However, I didn't develop migraines, from what I can tell, until I was actually diagnosed with IIH. I believe that they came on after. I would like to have the relationship between whether IIH can cause migraines as a potential thing that's done in research, but as of whether they're directly connected, I don't know the answer to that question. As for migraines, I did not have any type of migraines before I had IIH. I actually did not get many headaches before I had IIH. Headaches were not something that was really common unless I had a sinus infection or congested sinuses that was really, really bad, often what I would get when I got a cold. Getting on to this topic of headaches, I actually didn't really have a ton of headaches with IIH at the start. I had a few ways of maximizing my productivity in university so that I could get the most done and the best productivity out of the day with how I was feeling. The biggest way I got through my last semester was maximizing my productivity in the mornings. So my classes were actually mainly in the mornings. Another big way I got through the day was completing homework and studying basically almost directly after classes finished. So my day in university, I would go to classes, then I would eat lunch. I often took a lunch with me, and then I would stay on campus and study. By the time 4:30 came around, I was exhausted, and I had about a 15-20 minute bus ride, so by the time I got home and then started making myself my dinner, it was quite late. And also too, because I was managing school and also living on my own, there was a lot of other stuff to do that wasn't school related that I had to do because they were chore based. And as we all know, with IIH, sometimes your chores can be the worst thing, and I really, really struggled with basically taking care of myself in that last semester because almost all of my energy went towards doing my studying. I also did take school one day at a time, so with university you do have to kind of plan out weeks and all of that to make sure you're getting everything done. But it was really a day by day, sometimes even hour by hour type thing. And just like, okay, if I get this list of stuff done, I'm good for today. I'm good to go. So there was a lot of planning, especially when it come to finals, which I'll get to that in a few minutes. I also did get very, very lucky. My last semester was actually a fairly light one. It was meant to be a fairly light schedule because the classes that I was taking that semester were very heavy. I was taking 3 biochemistry classes, a cell biology class, and then the first year nutrition course. Now, a 5-class load is hard already, but when you have 3 biochemistry courses, it's a very, very heavy load. I was very lucky in the fact that I didn't have labs to manage, and most of the classes were exam-based. There was assignments in a couple of the classes, but most of them didn't take hours of work like what often psychology classes were, for example. Now getting into finals. So during the month of April at my school, we had finals. And it basically started about 6th or 7th, 8th of April, ended about between the 28th and 30th of April usually. Now, I did get lucky with my exam schedule that it was fairly nicely spaced out. The things that weren't spaced out, I had a block of time basically from one date to another to prepare for a few finals, and then what I would do in between those other finals is just review the biggest concepts. So it was a matter of which classes I wanted to focus on which day, and I just made a checklist, made sure that everything got about equal time. There were some things that I probably could have spent a lot more time on, but it turned out to work perfectly in the end. And by making a checklist and making a schedule the way I did it, I was not only able to get through my exam schedule and provide what I needed to each class in order to do well in the finals, but at the same time, I was able to manage my energy quite well. This lowered my stress and it lowered my exhaustion. And I actually think I caught up a little bit during that month of April just because I wasn't having to run between classes. I wasn't having to manage to do assignments every week. I actually did almost fail 2 of my classes in the last semester because I did really poorly on the midterms. I really struggled the most, I think, during midterms because it was just the start when things were really starting to take effect with me. The biggest struggle, though, for me was dealing with the double vision. For the 2 classes that I ended up doing really badly on, I was able to make up either because I did well on assignments and then did really well in the final, but the class that I was in the most danger of failing, a bunch of other people were dealing with colds and flus at the time, and a lot of us did poorly on the one midterm. So our professor ended up adjusting some of the marks because of that. The weights basically kept changing, but the way it worked out in the end, I pulled out a pretty decent mark actually in that class because of how well I did on the final exam. One of the biggest things I struggled with was exhaustion. And the exhaustion was so bad. At the start, I would rest up on the weekend and be okay until about Wednesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were just, okay, let's just take it one day at a time. Maybe we'll be feeling better next week. And then towards the start of March, this changed. And no matter how much rest I got on the weekend, I was exhausted on Monday. So this exhaustion just set in and it never did get better. I hope that kind of answers the question as to how I got through university. If you guys have any more questions that you'd like me to answer about this, I'd love to answer them. I think that people with IIH and migraines should be able to go to school and be able to thrive in academics. School is a really, really important thing, and we shouldn't be held back from going to school because we have a condition like IIH and migraines. Now, the good thing is that If you often have a disability that interferes with your academics, you can often get help from the university for that. But obviously, when you don't have a diagnosis, when you're finishing, it's either you push through or you drop out. And the reason why I didn't drop out was because I was in my final semester. Had it been at the start of my schooling, it would have been a tougher push. But I think I probably would have pushed through just because the cost of going to school is so high. And you do want to end up with that degree in the end. If you're enjoying my content, please feel free to subscribe. When you subscribe, you actually help me reach more people with IIH and migraines, and also help us raise more awareness for IIH and migraines as well. While you're subscribing, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss any of my upcoming future content. If you enjoyed this particular video, be sure to give it a like. If you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, be sure to like and follow. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.